If you're tired of being a brokie, this video is for you. If it's the first time we meet, my name is Fred, and so far, I've made upwards of $2,600 in profit in one single day online. Now, the average has been like $1,000 of profit per day. And most of the time when you hear these gurus talk about how much money they're making, they're talking about revenue, not profit. Here, I'm talking about the profit that goes in your pocket. But the truth is, it wasn't always like that. I used to only have a few $100 in the bank, and I would get super anxious at the thought of spending money. Now looking back, I realize it was a pretty stupid fear because I really didn't have much to lose. That's something most people don't seem to understand. When you're broke and you're enslaved by the modern job system, you're free to take risks, to lose money and to fail a lot because you literally don't have anything to lose. You're already at the bottom of the bottom of the food chain. On the other hand, the wealthy man who's already have everything and the top 1% lifestyle, he's got a lot to lose should something go wrong. But having nothing to lose makes you dangerous, and that is your advantage. By the way, if you want me to personally teach you how I've made thousands of dollars of profit per day by selling online courses and coaching programs so you can do the same, click the link in the description below when you're done watching this, of course, because I've made a free video where I'm going to explain the business model in more detail, and you can also apply for a free call with me, so you won't be talking to a sales rep, and you might get the chance to join my paid program if it's a good fit. But this is only for people who are serious in investing in themselves. I know that a lot of people are going to hate me for it, but being broke in 2025 is a choice. Look, I grew up in a low middle class family. My father was a nurse and my mother a nursing assistant. And I remember this one summer, we had to choose between paying for medical bills and being able to repair the car. Life was hell. And I always asked myself, what was the difference between poor people and rich people aside from luck and circumstances? Successful self-made people chose a different path compared to most people. They made different decisions. Most people are broke because they keep making stupid decisions. If you're watching this video right now, then you have to realize that you are incredibly privileged compared to our ancestors. Becoming successful and making fuck you money has never been easier than it is today. I always find it so funny when people say that making content is too competitive or that it's already saturated. When you look at the facts, YouTube is only 20 years old, Instagram is 15 years old, and TikTok is even younger, as it's only been 9 years since it was released. And aside from that, nowadays, we've got access to so much information on literally any topic with just a few clicks. If you have a credit or debit card, you can purchase books, courses, guidance from mentors, etc. And you can literally learn anything and do anything. Everything I know today, everything I've been able to accomplish, it's thanks to other people. I learned it from other people. I didn't just magically come up with it. You have to realize that everything's already been done before. There are no original ideas. So if right now you're still broke, you still live paycheck to paycheck, or you make between $2,000 to $4,000 a month, if you're honest with yourself, you probably have your priorities all messed up. If you gave most people $1,000, what would they do with that money? Like, let's answer honestly. They would immediately go buy an iPhone or some video game or things like that. That's literally how most people spend their paychecks. And then they complain about not having enough money to do the things that they want. Now, if you're still watching this video at this point, that tells me you're not like these people, in the sense that you understand that if you really want to obtain a higher quality of life, you need to find a way to make more money, but also to dissociate your income from your time. Because as long as these two things are tied together, there will always be a ceiling preventing you from making more money. What you need to do is to invest in yourself. Invest in books, equipment to make better content, courses and learning from mentors, people who've got the sort of results that you want for yourself. Instead of wasting that money on things like McDonald's, branded clothes and iPhones, get an iPhone when you can actually afford one, you idiot. Look, I've spoken to hundreds of ambitious people who want more than the cookie cutter 9-to-5 path. And they're smart, hardworking people. But for 99% of them, their problem is that they don't have the balls to take risks and just get started. One of the biggest lessons I learned in my life is that you have to feel the fear and do it anyway. And that brings me to my second point. You expect to get rich, but you're not even willing to take risks or invest $1 in yourself. If that's you, then I can't say it any other way. You are delusional as fuck and you will never get there. Being delusional is a quality. However, most people are delusional in the wrong way. In order to get to 10k, to 100k per month online, you have to be delusional in the sense that you need to have enough self-belief and enough balls to go after what you want. And let's face it, 99% of people just don't have it in them. They'll give up at the slightest obstacle. Most people are delusional in thinking that even though they're willing to change absolutely nothing, everything will somehow change one day and they will make a ton of money. It's not going to just happen, bro. You have to deserve success through your actions. Talking the talk doesn't fucking matter. Anyone can do that. My grandmother can do that. A few years ago, before I started selling services and consulting, so back around 2022, I was this anxious, depressed, broke kid with like $400 at most in my bank account. And I remember how badly I wanted to be successful. I was literally the human embodiment of the quote, "You'll be successful when you want to be successful as badly as you want to breathe." So my desire to get rich and successful was there, no doubt. But for some reason, I was stuck. I couldn't get myself to start taking action, or even when I did, I would never stay consistent for very long. And that's when I sort of had a light bulb moment and I realized that I was just like everybody else. What I mean is, everybody wants to be successful. Everybody. Everybody dreams of a better physique, like abs or whatever, more money, a better love life, etc. But dreams don't come true. Only goals do. A dream is something you wish would come true, while a goal is something that you make happen with sheer determination, strategy, and grit. So that's when I had this realization that wanting things did not make me special. Going after them relentlessly and never quitting did. Because that is where 99% of people would have stopped, including the people watching this right now. Now, in your quest for success, status, and wealth, you will face a few obstacles and enemies. And while the main enemy you'll ever have to face is yourself, the second biggest enemy will be the people around you if you don't choose them carefully. Why? Because you're spending your days listening to the wrong advice and being influenced by the wrong people. You need to stop listening to all of the brokies around you, to society's garbage generic advice, to your broke teachers or parents. Look, I'm sure they mean well, and if you have decent parents, then the last thing they want to see is you crash and burn. But let's face it, unless your parents themselves make 6 or even 7 figures a year with a freedom business, I'm not talking about a regular, soulless corporate career that drains the life from them, then you just can't take their financial advice, because if you do, you will end up in the same position. And once more, nothing changes if nothing changes. You wouldn't go to the obese guy for weight loss advice, would you? Well, of course not, because it would make no sense. Then why would you go to your broke teachers, friends, or family members for money advice? You only do that when you're a moron. Now, you've got to be honest with yourself. I know that this isn't the first how to make money online video you've watched. You've probably already watched dozens, if not hundreds of those. Yet, how much money have you actually made online? You see, that's the real question. I discovered you could make money online when I was only 11 years old. I was just about to turn 12. I literally just typed how to get rich in the search bar on YouTube, and I stumbled upon a few online entrepreneurs who were selling digital products as in online courses. And I remember this particular guy who literally showed his computer screen and you could see that he made over $70,000 in the last 30 days. Now when I saw that, it felt unbelievable because no one I ever knew made that much money, especially that quickly. But it also lit a fire in me and gave me hope that a better life, a life of true freedom and abundance was actually possible, and that it wasn't just a stupid, silly, childish dream. And so what happened next? I spent a lot of time watching every YouTube video about online business I could get my hands on. I would spend all of my evenings after school sitting on my bed with a notepad and a pen and my computer propped up on a chair in front of me. I would take notes, write down their advice, study their websites and sales funnels, their mindset, etc. I'd often stay up until 2, even 3 a.m. in the morning, even though I had to force myself to be up at 6:30 a.m. the next day so I could take the crowded bus to go to school. I made a big mistake and I want you to learn from that mistake so you can move faster than me and hopefully achieve similar or better results in a shorter time frame. I spent far too much time thinking about it, or quote-unquote coming up with a strategy and researching and consuming content instead of actually taking massive action. This is probably exactly what you're doing right now. You're stuck in thinking mode, in research mode, but nothing gets done. Don't lie to me, bro. I've spoken with hundreds of people who wanted to build a profitable online business, and 90% of the time, if not more, people tell me it's been years they've been wanting to build their own online business and become financially free. But for some reason, they still haven't taken the first step. They're still waiting for some magical event to take place and to wake them the hell up. Well, let me tell you this very clearly, because I promised to give you raw, honest advice, not cheap, feel-good advice that benefits no one other than maybe your ego. No one is coming to save your ass and your family. It's your duty to do that yourself. We live in a very competitive world. When you sit on the sidelines and you let your excuses prevent you from reaching your goals, it's the modern equivalent of letting an enemy group raid your camp and kill your men and rape your wife and daughters. You say you want to be successful, make more money, become financially free, but you're still not doing anything at all, other than just mindlessly consuming cheap entertainment. And I sincerely believe that as a man, it's your duty to get rich as quickly as you can and provide for your family. I cannot even tell you the amount of guys I speak with who've got no balls. In sales, there's an objection that comes up sometimes, which is when the prospect tells you, oh yeah, I just need to speak with my wife. They do that when it's time for them to make a buying decision at the end of the call. But in reality, it's never about the wife. It's a bullshit objection, which is what we call a smokescreen. What it reveals is a lack of balls. Bro's telling you he needs to run and hide under mommy's skirt and ask her for her permission so he can do what he wants. It always makes me laugh. If you're gonna let someone else make the decisions for you, instead of being a man and owning it, especially if you want to be a provider, just forget about it, because it's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen until you keep running to mommy for permission. The biggest lesson I want you to take away from this video is that if you genuinely want to become wealthy, whether that means making $10,000 a month or $100,000 a month for you, or more than that, you've got to pick one path, stick to it, and not let anything or anyone derail you from that path. That is the price of success. You might have to grind for 2 to 5 years, but then you will literally be a millionaire and the world will be your playground. So I think it's a sacrifice worth making. And if you don't want to waste years of your life stuck in inaction or trying to figure everything out alone, and if you want me to personally teach you how I've made thousands of dollars of profit per day by selling online courses and coaching programs so you can do the same, click the link in the description below. I've made a free video which explains the business model in more detail, and beneath it, you can apply for a free call with me. You won't be talking to a sales rep, you'll be speaking with me, and if we're a good fit, you'll have the opportunity to join my paid program and learn from me directly. Now, this is only for people who are serious about becoming financially free and who value investing in themselves. With that being said, I'll see you on the other side.